Hello and welcome to the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series live tonight for race number 8 from Chicagoland Speedway. This is the VSPEED 200 tonight, brought to you by VSPEED. We want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Playoffs are closing in and drivers trying to find their way in or lock themselves in with a victory. And tonight is a great opportunity for some drivers who maybe haven't had the points to get in yet, or the performances in the first 7 races. We take a look at the hometown hero here tonight, Seth Hatchell. He's third on the board, he's second in the points, and he's looking for his first victory of the season. We'll see what he can do here in tonight's race. Of course, tonight's event brought to you by the NASCAR Brawl Podcast. Check them out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can get some awesome racing content with some high-profile guests, and definitely a lot of fun listening to those guys. So check them out, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That's the NASCAR Brawl Podcast, part of the Brawl Network series of podcasts. You can check all those out on the same platforms as well. So tonight's race is going to be very interesting. This mile-and-a-half track, Chicagoland Speedway, is one of the more interesting mile-and-a-halfs that we go to. A long, sweeping, curved front straightaway here. You can see as Safe Ferris catches up to the back bumper of Alan Dice as they cross the start-finish line there. Just a minute left in the practice session. Safe is currently the fastest car in practice so far, and he's also looking for his first victory of the season. Been so close in these first 7 races. Let's take a look at where the drivers come in the point standings into tonight's event. Taking a look at the top 20 in points, Jeff Pogo, who had a win at Bristol. He's performed well enough. He's got the points lead after a nice strong performance at New Hampshire last week. Seth Hatchell lost the points lead in that race, but was in contention to win it at the later stages and got involved in a late race incident. He's going to come into this race second in points, still well above that cut line between 16th and 17th. AJ Stravato, with his win last week, goes to 4 victories out of the first 7 races, so he is the man to beat week in and week out. He moves up to 3rd in points, not too far behind those guys, so definitely a threat to win and potentially collect some more playoff points. Eric Hutton there in 4th. Josiah Vincent solidly in the top 5 after an incredible run from 2 laps down last week. And Ryan Gemmel, the winner at Michigan a couple weeks ago, he moves to 6th in points, and then you can see the rest of your top 16 there. It is very close between 11th and really well outside the top 20. A lot of drivers still in contention to fight their way in. You can see only 4 locked in on victories, so plenty of room to work with there for those guys. Let's take a look at drivers outside the top 20. You see Dallas Sullivan, Lane Sulfridge, Joey Mines, who was up near the top 16 a few weeks back. He has lost some ground. And a few drivers we've seen have good runs now and then, but not consistent enough to grab the points week in, week out, and they are on the outside looking in. So some of these drivers looking for a good performance tonight and looking to claw their way back up in the top 16. And I think we've got a pretty good sized field here as the drivers head to the racetrack for the qualifying session. Let's bring up our qualifying ticker so you can see where these guys put their time on the board. And track conditions here tonight: 79 degree air temp, 107 degree track temp, so going to be a bit slick here in the sunshine in Chicago. Let's take a look at our track information as well. A 1.5-mile racetrack, long sweeping front straightaway, and then also a little bit of curvature to the back stretch as well. It's definitely one of the most interesting tracks, very similar to Las Vegas, which we've already raced at, so we'll see how things go and how it compares to that race. And welcome Viking City Motorsports and Miller Time. Thank you guys for showing up here tonight. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we got Viking City cheering on Loaded Dice Racing. But more information on tonight's race. It is going to be a 200-mile race. We had a little bit of an issue with the original advertising of this race, and we had said that it was going to be 150 laps. It will be 133 laps, 200 miles, because it is a 1.5 mile racetrack. You can see the banking stats there on your screen as well. Pretty moderately banked. And should be a fun one here tonight. Not one of my best tracks, not one of my favorites, but definitely very interesting and one of the more difficult 1.5 miles, that is for sure. Very worn out racing surface. Means drivers are going to have to try and hold on to the tires as long as possible. As AJ Stravato on the racetrack, we'll see where he puts the 48 car on the qualifying board. As he comes around to start. Actually, that is his first lap. That puts him 10th on the board. He's got about, let's see, 0.11 seconds to make up to capture the pole, and we'll see if he can do that. So he can make his way down the back straightaway. Pretty good speed right now, hitting about 185 miles an hour, and then through these corners, still up over 180. So he is carrying some very fast speed, and a 30.057 is going to be good enough for second. He actually ties Safe Ferris. Not going to be good enough for the pole. Wow, very close. That is crazy that they actually tied on time. And Dallas Sullivan out here on the racetrack. He's got about a minute left to complete these 2 laps, but he puts his first one in there, 30.67. That will be good enough for 20th out of the 21 qualifiers, and he'll aim to improve that right here. Go on board with the Krispy Kreme machine. Here just light lifting through the corner, but pretty much full throttle as he picks up a lap time up to 30.054 is what I'm seeing here. That is good enough for the pole. Dallas Sullivan, who's on the outside looking in, he throws the 6 car onto the pole. We've seen Dallas have some good qualifying efforts here in recent weeks, just has not had the finishes. I believe he led some laps last week at New Hampshire, actually, in the early going, and ended up fading back and got caught up in a couple incidents. But he is starting off on the right foot here tonight. Dylan Teal was one of the quicker cars in the practice session, as he is about to run out of time here. We'll see if the second lap counts. Right now he is 19th on the board. He might have been pushing his luck a little bit. Usually the last 5 minutes of practice and qualifying reserved for the drivers' meeting. As Dylan out of turn 4 across the start-finish line. 30.167. It will count. He'll move to 17th. Not the lap I'm sure he was looking for, but a lap nonetheless. As the drivers head to their meeting, we are going to cut to commercial break, and we will be right back with the starting grid.
Introducing the Brawl Network. The Brawl Network brings your favorite team's news and opinions in an unfiltered, educated, and entertaining way. Enough of the mainstream media's bias, filtered, reiterative news. Our reporters are fans of the teams they cover, as opposed to most major reporters. While some may feel it is good to get unbiased takes, it results in negative bias, passionless articles, and boring podcasts and radio. The Brawl Network changes the game by reporting the same news as the mainstream media, but with passion, in-depth knowledge of the teams, and in an entertaining way. We use our connections to bring you behind-the-scenes information and perspectives daily. Brawl is a way of life here. For our listeners and contributors, we hear all opinions, voices, ideas, thoughts, and hot takes. The Brawl Network is where your voice is heard, and you can hear your voice. Also check out NASCAR Brawl, the newest Brawl podcast focusing on all the newest NASCAR and motorsports news from across the industry. We're proud to bring you the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series sponsored by this podcast and partnered with VSPEED. Watch weekly on Wednesdays at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Twitch at VSPEED Sim. Check out the Brawl Network at thebrawlnetwork.com and on Twitter at Network Brawl, and the NASCAR Brawl podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify with new episodes coming soon.
I'm Jonathan Proper, CEO of Drops.com, and I'm here to give you the naked truth about laundry. Size does not matter when it comes to laundry. Let's start with jugs. It's big all right, messy too, and expensive. You know why? Lots of plastic, lots of water, shipped all over the country, from factory to warehouse to retailer. That's what you're paying for. It's a dinosaur, and we all know dinosaurs are extinct. Meet our imitators. This is your average detergent pod. It has 20 plus chemicals with names nobody can pronounce. Nice colors. I hope they don't stain. I know color doesn't clean. Would you take a bath in either of these? No way. That's why we developed Drops. Drops is dye-free, MPE-free, phosphate-free, animal cruelty-free. So free, it's freaking awesome. We make Drops with only 6 safe ingredients, certified by the EPA. Drops is tough on dirt, but gentle enough for baby's skin. It's so gentle, I'm taking a bath in it. Doing laundry with Drops is hard to up. 1 drop equals 1 load. Now, can we talk about my package? 100% recyclable. Manufacturing Drops ourselves and distributing directly helps us cut out the middleman and reduce transportation costs. With delivery plans as low as $4 a month, the average family can save $100 a year. Hello? What are you saying? The cleanest clothes at the lowest price? You're damn right it's a great deal. Thanks for calling. Shipping is always free. You choose the product and plan that's right for you, and we'll drop Drops at your door. The naked truth is that Drops makes laundry better and life easier. Every Drops counts, saving money, plastic, water, and time. So go to Drops.com. The first one's on us.
And we're back at the racetrack. Drivers heading to the starting grid. Let's take a look at tonight's starting positions. Let's bring up our starting grid now. Nick Starling grabs the pole at the very end of the drivers' session there. So they must have extended the time in qualifying, as he was out there after that 5-minute mark. But he takes the pole, the number 32 machine, sporting the all-black paint scheme there. He is on the pole. Dallas Sullivan drops to second, but also a fantastic lap time. That is 2 weeks in a row he started on the outside front row. Rolling off from third position, it's going to be Safe Ferris, the number 44, looking for his first victory, and AJ Stravato, the 48 car, looking for another victory this season. Josiah Vincent starting in fifth. Your points leader, Jeff Pogo, going to be starting in sixth. Ryan Gemmel, the Michigan winner, rolling off in seventh. Jordan Scheffler going to be starting in eighth tonight. Lane Sulford starting in the 9th position, and Dan Dill will be rounding out the top 10. In 11th, it's Cody Adkins. In 12th, Second place in points, Seth Hatchell, hometown hero. Jason Perkins going to be rolling off 13th. Thomas Brendel rolling off in 14th. Alan Dice going to be rolling off in 15th. Michael Newman starting in 16th. Brandon Vasquez starting in the 17th position. Jordan Barackel going to be rolling off in 18th. Joey Mines starting in 19th here tonight. Dylan Teal going to be starting in the 20th position. In 21st, it's Justin Carey. Eric Holly starting in 22nd. 23rd will be Dennis Steele. 24th, Justin Hendry. 25th, Lyle Sulfridge. 26th, going to be Eric Lambert. 27th, last driver on the field is going to be Zach Smith here tonight. Number 1 car. Zach made his return last week and did not have a great outing, but nonetheless, he is back again, and he's going to try and put on a charge here and see if he can capture his first victory of the season. But we're about to get underway from Chicago. Nick Starling, Dallas Sullivan, your front row. As we wait for that pace car to make the hard left turn off of the racetrack. And waiting. Green flag in the air, and we're underway for the VSPEED 200 live from Chicagoland Speedway. Cheer on your favorite driver in chat. Let us know who you're rooting for. We'll follow along with them throughout the race, but Nick Starling gets out in front. Safe Ferris goes directly to second place right behind him. And here comes Josiah Vincent trying to pass up Dallas Sullivan. The high line not getting up to speed and going. Dallas losing quite a few spots. As we make our way into turn 3 and 4, he's already back to the 6th position, trying to hold off those guys behind him. But at the front, Nick Starling leads lap number 1, and Safe Ferris all over the back bumper. And now Ferris goes to the outside. We've seen how aggressive that 44 car is at the start of these races. He charges his way through the pack and almost always finds the front. But sometimes he brings people with him, and he's going to have to be careful with that. He's had some penalties this season. We'll see if he can avoid those tonight and maybe keep the car up in front and keep it clean. He's had the finishes, but needs to keep that temper in check, or keep his driving in check, and he will have some good results. Nick Starling trying to hold on to that bottom line, trying to stay down there, but the high line now, nose to tail. You see Ryan Gemmel giving a big push there to Josiah Vincent. And Josiah, as noted last week, he actually started from the pit lane, had some connection issues in the beginning of the race, ended up on the podium before it was all said and done. And what a charge from him. He kept that race car clean. Brought home in 3rd position. He's working the 2 lanes, now trying to cut underneath Nick Starling. He gets to the inside quarter panel, and he's going to bring AJ Stravato along with him. Gemmel on the outside, going to try and fight off your points leader, Jeff Pogo. The 24 gets the nose in there. And he's trying to get to the inside now. The 16, though, a good run on the high side. He'll clear Pogo and drop down in line. But still side by side up here for 2nd through 5th. And if Pogo can get there, it'll be 2nd through 6th, all under a blanket. Behind them, Dan Dill with a good start to this race. He's in that 7th spot, passing up outside pole sitter Dallas Sullivan. Oh, we got a car off the wall. That's pole sitter Nick Starling. He bounces it off the outside barrier. He's going to lose some time here, and there goes Dallas Sullivan. Here comes Jordan Shepard to the inside. Shepard almost makes contact there. And they're going to start stacking up here. That is tough. And we got a car off the pace. Let's see what happens to Nick as he was racing it up. Thank you for the follow, Kimmy G's. Oh, you see the 32, just a wiggle there. He catches the car, but had to take it up the racetrack and did catch the right side in the wall. And that is what cost him right there. Currently hanging on to 9th position and going to be looking to get some damage repaired. But Safe Ferris is going to take over the top spot now. Josiah Vincent right there behind him, and AJ Stravato, some common characters at the front at the start of this race. It's the top 5 now, single file. The battle is for 6th. Seth Hatchell, Jeff Pogo fighting it out. The top 2 in points, fighting it out for 5th and 6th position. Actually, that's Dan Dill and Seth Hatchell, as Hatchell works his way past on the inside, and he's going to take 6th position away. Set his sights on that 24 car right there in front, and then his teammate in the 16. Alan Dice up here in the top 10. Good run so far. We've got Mad Cat Felix cheering on Eric Lambert. And Eric back here in the 18th position. He needs some good runs here. He needs to get up there and earn some top 10s in these next couple of races. As he tags the wall, right as we're talking about him, he tags the outside wall, and that's going to cost some time. Here comes Joey Mines, Michael Newman, and others going to try and make their way past us. We've got 3 wide farther back. Jordan Brockle, Dennis Steele. We've got contact there. The 84, I think, slipped up into Dennis Steele. Wow, and that could have ended in much worse than that. Zach Smith, well, hanging on to it down there, but he's going to drop to the tail end of the lead pack. And Eric Lambert off the racetrack, I think. Nope, he is on the racetrack. He's having some connection problems, and he has big rear end damage. I don't know what happened to Eric. I'm going to see if we can find out. We lost him, and he got rear end damage, so I do not know. But he's going to get passed up by the 14 of Thomas Brendel. This is for 20th position. And racing going on back here just outside that top 20. But at the front, the top, let's see, what is that, top 8 or top 7 have all broken away from Alan Dice. About a second up the road is that 81 of Dan Dill. And they are all single file. Behind them, though, Jordan Shepler is starting to move through the field in that VSPEED NASCAR Brawl Camaro. He gets really loose out of turn number 4, but able to keep his foot in it. And he's about 2 car lengths back from the 57 as they are side by side. Dylan Teal and Dallas Sullivan. Oh, Brandon Vasquez on the apron. Able to hang on to it. These guys are slipping and sliding all over the place. Dallas Sullivan tags the wall there on the backstretch. A lot of action. We have Hobby Farmer cheering on Seth Hatchell. We've got Viking City Motorsports cheering on the Loaded Dice racing drivers. Let's look a little bit farther back here. That looks like Brandon Vasquez starting to drop, as well as Lane Sulfridge. He's going the wrong direction. Getting passed up now by Jason Perkins in that 49 car. And then Nick Starling started on the pole. He is all the way back here in the 17th position. He's trying to keep that thing in one piece and hope for a caution at some point in this race. But nothing doing just yet in terms of yellow flags. So not a great break there for the 32, who collected damage early on in this. Behind him, they are fighting it out. That's the 71 of Sulfridge, who's on the back bumper. Here comes Eric Holly in that 25 car, as he is trying to get up there and get a solid finish. We've seen Eric have some decent runs here this season, but having trouble putting together a full race, really. As he comes into the points, or into this race, 11th in points. He's still inside that cut line, but looking to add a few more points here and feel a little bit more secure as we're closing in on those playoffs. Take a look up a little farther. Jeff Pogo is dropped to 6th, and he is not able to keep up with the VSPEED Camaros in front of him. That's Seth Hatchell. Ryan Gemmel nose to tail in 4th and 5th. And then AJ Stravato starting to look to the inside of Josiah Vincent, not able to get there that time. But the 48 car showing some speed. Once again here in the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series, he is up to 3rd after starting in that 4th spot, and he's right here on the back bumper looking to pounce, and it looks like Josiah is starting to reel in Safe Ferris once again, so possibly the 44 going out there burning his stuff up. And he is starting to lose some ground, as now the 4 Vincent almost on the back bumper. The 44 definitely losing some time here. That time by about 700 slower, so a couple more laps like that, he's going to be back to 4th or 5th as the 4 car of Vincent jukes to the inside now, peak to the outside. Now he's going to cut back down low on entry to turn 1, and he is not going to be able to get there. The 44 keeps his foot in the throttle. And they stay 1, 2, 3 as they entered, but here comes Ryan Gemmel with that full head of steam. We'll see what he can do. The aero push is a real factor here, as you can see it there from the 16. He started drifting up the racetrack a little bit as he looks down low on Stravato. Not going to be able to get there. They're all running that apron through the front straightaway. Ryan using a little higher entry there to get some air on the nose, keep that front downforce. As those top 5 continue to drive away. We've got heavy battling here just inside the top 10. That is Dylan Teal and Alan Dice. Now we got Jordan Shepler in that 10th spot, holding off Justin Carey and Dallas Sullivan, who are 11th and 12th. Dylan looks like he might have bounced it off the wall right there. As here comes Jordan looking to the outside. The 78 not going to close the door, so they go side by side for that 9th and 10th position. Looks like Hatchell 8 cheering on Seth Hatchell and watching with his sister, so that's pretty cool. Glad you guys could join us as Dylan Teal really dives it in. Jordan Shepler trying to get back underneath of him here. Oh, Brandon Vasquez, big slide. He goes through the grass, able to hang on to it. I believe they refer to him as Batman in the Wayne Enterprises Ford Mustang. He gets passed up by Eric Holly, making a superhero-like save, driving through the grass there. So he can continue to race on, but a bit of ground to make up to the leaders as he's about 7.7 seconds back in battle for the lead. As Safe Ferris now, he's going to lose it for the moment. Josiah Vincent, I believe, led that lap. And Safe working the outside line. I don't think he's going to be able to hang on here. There goes Josiah Vincent. He's going to jump up in front of the 44 and throw the block. Here comes Stravato to the inside. And we've seen these two mix it up in previous weeks. Stravato looking to get the run down low. He's got the VSPEED Camaros behind him, giving him some help. And Safe Ferris now to the outside of Ryan Gemmel. We'll see if Ryan can pull off a pass here. These two, I believe, got together last week. But we're all of these drivers were up in contention at some point during the race at New Hampshire. And once again, these guys, the drivers to beat, and your points leader not too far behind in that 6th spot. As we see, I believe that's someone bouncing off the wall. Though I'm not sure. I think they just all got slowed up. Josiah Vincent having some trouble, though. He is going to get passed up by Stravato. So AJ Stravato somehow took the lead there. I'm going to go back and we'll see what happened. Oh, I think Josiah got loose. Josiah Vincent, he loses a lot of ground there. I really don't know. But AJ Stravato took that top spot away. And then Ryan Gemmel got in there. They almost made contact as the 4 threw a huge block into turn 1. And that checked everybody up. Jeff Pogo now back in the mix. And AJ Stravato is driving away. Kimmy G's cheering on Dylan Teal. Dylan is right here in the 12th position. Was very quick in practice as he just scuffs the wall right there. And here comes Eric Holly, going to look to the inside. Every time I jump to a driver, it seems like they tag the wall. So maybe don't shout out your driver tonight. might be a curse, as Dan Dill looks like he might be off the pace. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but this battle continues to rage on just inside the top 10. Jordan Shepler in that 8th position. He goes to the inside of Alan Dice, but here comes Justin Carey, going to make it 3 wide down the front straightaway, and Dallas Sullivan in a pretty precarious position as they remain 3 wide. Alan Dice way up by the outside wall. He's going to lose a ton of time. Here comes Eric Holly closing in. And oh, there's contact. Justin Carey going to go down through the grass. The 21 car locks it down. He's still trying to gather it back up. He catches it. He's going to lose a lot of time and a lot of positions. Let's go back and see what happened there. They were 3 wide. Jordan Shepler, Justin Carey, and Dallas Sullivan got in the mix. The 13 bounces off the wall, gets into the 21. Sends Justin for a ride. He has had some rough luck here through the first 7 races of this season, but driver who has not is this 48 car out in front here as we put lap number 30 up on the board. Stravato once again out in front, followed by the VSPEED teammates, Ryan Gemmel and Seth Hatchell. So a lot of action in the opening 30 laps here, but no cautions. Great job by these drivers to keep things clean and green. As, oh, I think we had a car get slow off turn number 4. That is Jeff Pogo. Jeff was trying to come to pit lane. He misses pit lane. So Jeff Pogo getting back up to speed. He's going to lose a lot of time, and I think he'll bring it in this time. We'll see what other drivers are starting to do. But 30 laps into this seems a little bit early. Pogo is slowing up here. He's going to bring it down the pit lane. It's slowed up to about 50 miles an hour. So your points leader, the first one to blink and bring it onto the pit road. And I don't see anybody else making the move just yet, so we'll see how this works out for Jeff Pogo. As AJ Stravato continues to show the way, Gemmel and Hatchell working together. They're starting to reel him back in. Josiah Vincent not too far back, so in terms of lap time, Seth Hatchell the fastest, running a 31:39 compared to your leader's 31:57, so nearly 0.2 faster for the number 8 car. And Ryan Gemmel about 1.5 faster than your leader. So these two guys working together using the draft to make their way forward. Looks like Jordan Shepler going to bring it into the pit lane. He pulls it off onto the apron very early. Dylan Teal also going to slow up and bring it in. He's got some right rear damage after tagging the wall a bit earlier. Thomas Brendel also bringing it on in the 14 car. Justin Carey. Justin Carey still on the racetrack. And when do the leaders start bringing it in here? Because they will lose almost 2 seconds a lap if they remain on the track. And Jeff Pogo probably going to end up your leader when this all cycles through. Right now he's in the 25th position, but he's about to get a few of those back. Dan Dill also pitted a few laps ago. He missed his pit stop, but he pitted. He's right now in front of Jeff Pogo. As now they're catching up to lap traffic. It's nearly 4 wide. The 81 trying to find a way through, but nowhere to go. He's all over the back bumper of the 19. Here comes Pogo with a full head of steam. And this is where things can get very dangerous and very dicey for the loaded dice driver. And 24 goes to the inside of Starling. And these guys are 1 lap down, but the cars they're passing are lead lap race cars. As Thomas Brendel coming off the pit road up in front of them. Thomas actually 2 laps down. He had an extended stay on the pit lane, and not sure what cost him so much time, but looks like Jeff Pogo able to take the spot away from Dan Dill. So Jeff probably going to cycle to be your leader when this is all through, and we'll see exactly how it works out. But the leaders remaining on the racetrack, 37 laps in. Brandon Vasquez, Nick Starling, and Eric Lambert on the pit road right now. They see those cars with the fresh tires. Safe Ferris actually off of pit road a few laps ago, so Safe brought it in after he saw his speed dwindling. So Safe in the 15th spot. First car 1 lap down as Justin Carey on the pit road. Jason Perkins pulling into his box. I think he actually missed the box. Nope, he gets in there. And AJ Stravato continues to lead. There's Eric Lambert making his way off. The VSPEED Camaro's not as close nose to tail, and the times have pretty much leveled out among the top 4. Stravato going to start catching some lap traffic up there in front of him. That is the 19 machine of Vasquez. As Michael Newman brings it on pit road. Taking a look to see who else is on pit lane. It looks like that is it for now. The top 11 yet to come down the pit road and take tires and fuel. As we now are on lap 40. CJ 2121 cheering on the Sulfridges. And looks like Lane up in the 8th position as things are cycling out. But he is 21.5 seconds back, so he's going to have to pick up the pace if he wants to remain on the lead lap. Lyle Sulfridge in 11th. Last car on the lead lap right now. He's about a second in front of your leaders, maybe 2 seconds. And in danger of going a lap down. We'll see if any of these guys bring it down here anytime soon. Does not look like the top 11 are going to bring it in. It's still Alan Dice. He's in a precarious position, getting passed up by cars left and right. All those cars around him on fresh Goodyear Eagles as he throws a block on the 31 of Cody Adkins. Cody is 11 laps down. He stayed on pit road for over 5 minutes earlier and got some damage repaired. We're taking a look. Lyle Sulfridge getting lapped there by the top 3. Safe Ferry is about to unlap himself here in just probably about 1 lap or so. Currently running a 30.3 to the leader's 31.5. Yes, sir. Big shout out to Drops. Big shout out to NASCAR Brawl. If you want to go support those guys, you can find their podcasts on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And then if you want to check out Drops, a very innovative laundry detergent solution, you can use our code there in the chat. That is Drops15. Save 15% off your purchase and use the link there to help support us. We get a small percentage of each purchase, and it does really go a long way to helping us, so we would appreciate that. And check it out, see if it's right for you. As we're taking a look at the top 10, still yet to pit. Lyle Sulfridge, he's a lap down, still has yet to pit as well. And we'll see how everything cycles out for him, but he's not in a good spot, not in position to get back on the lead lap. Looks like Dennis Steele slowing up, trying to get on the pit lane. And he gets that 28 car woed up. Nice new paint scheme for him. Not what we are used to seeing. I think it's usually a Florida Gators scheme, or it's a green and orange scheme on that car usually as he slides into his box and they begin service on that race car. Still 10 drivers yet to pit. Here comes Joey Mine's going to bring it on. He's got some significant right front damage. And Joey has not had the finishes here as of late either. He has had a couple top 10s this season. As here comes Hatchell, Gemmel, and Vincent. They're all going to bring it onto the pit lane. And that leaves your leader, AJ Stravato, one of the last 5 drivers yet to pit. And how long does he stay out there? Or will he answer right here? He's getting that car woed up. Gets a little bit squirrely under braking. Trying to lock it down. And looks like he might have got that down under the 50-mile-an-hour limit. Actually, looks like he's right up around 60 miles an hour right now. So we'll see if he did make it down beneath the commitment line at the pit road speed. We'll see how that works out for him. As they pull into their box, he is still your leader. Alan Dice also on the pit road. And Zach Smith looks like he is going to be the last driver other than Lyle Sulfridge, who is also on pit lane. So everybody has pitted, and that's going to cycle Safe Ferris out to the lead with about a 5-second gap back to Jeff Pogo. So no cautions here in the first 48 laps. And Safe Ferris takes over the top spot. Once again, he's led 19 laps here tonight. Early on in the event, he started to fade there. But Safe up front once again. 5-second gap to Jeff Pogo. Another 3 seconds back to Dan Dill. And he's got 3 seconds over Dallas Sullivan. Stravato now looks like he's going to make his way past Dallas Sullivan with much fresher tires. So Stravato with the 24 laps led, he is the first of those cars that came down. And it looks like the VSPEED Camaro is getting stuck behind a few drivers here. They're going to try and find their way through as Gemmel goes to the middle. Here comes Hatchell. He's also going to dive to the middle between the 71 and Dallas Sullivan in the 6. They're going to go around Eric Hawley as well. Eric is... find him on the scoring here. He is in 6th position, but going to lose a couple there. He'll drop back to 7th. So pit strategy playing a factor here. AJ Stravato running quite a bit faster than your leaders up there, but he does have a ways to make up. He's right now 8 seconds back from Safe Ferris, but he's chipping off about 1.5 seconds a lap, so he'll be there in a handful of laps. So AJ Stravato in good shape right now. He's got the VSPEED Camaros about 1.5 seconds back, working together. And I'm surprised they didn't make up any time during the pit cycle, having come in a lap earlier. But Gemmel with a slow stop at a 16.3, about 7/10 slower than Stravato. So he could have lost a bit of time there and unable to make it up on the in and out laps. Right now, Safe Ferris has control of this race. Still 5 seconds out in front of Jeff Pogo. And Stravato is now caught up to Pogo. He's going to go to the outside, and he's also got all this lap traffic right here in front of him that he's going to have to navigate. That looks like the 85 machine. That's Justin Hendry. Don't talk much about him. He is currently 1 lap down, and only 16 cars left on the lead lap. As here come the VSPEED Camaros behind the 85 and the 24. Gemmel going to dive 3 wide there, and Seth Hatchell, he's a little bit farther back. He's not going to be able to do that, but he'll go down to the apron. and he'll take it 3 wide on the front stretch. But Gemmel being very aggressive with the lap traffic, knowing it's a good opportunity to make up time on Stravado, and they have done that. It's now about 2/3 of a second between Gemmel and Stravado. And I don't believe AJ hit anything or hit anyone, so he did make it through cleanly, and going to start tracking down your leader, Safe Ferris. But Gemmel is slowly reeling him in. But once again, a 1 lap difference on their tires. The VSPEED Camaro's 1 lap older than Stravado's, and then Safe Ferris with 23 laps on his tires. About 15 more than those cars behind him. And about 9/10 of a second slower each lap. They will be there in just a few laps. Let's take a look at your pole sitter here tonight, Nick Starling. He's back up to the 11th position. He led a couple laps early and hit the wall while racing up in the top 5, and I think that's really hurt the race car. He's currently 17.1 seconds back, still putting up some pretty decent lap times compared to drivers on the same pit strategy, but not going to be competitive with the leaders right now until he gets some more of that damage fixed. But AJ Stravado, he's pulled a gap once again on Ryan Gemmel. It's up to over a second between Gemmel and Stravado, as we see Dylan Teal. He's going to miss the commitment line there. He goes through the grass, actually, on the backstretch, losing control of the race car. And he's going to try and pull it up on the racetrack. Very slow right now for Dylan Teal. Not sure if he had a mistake in 1 and 2, but he does have some nose damage. So Dylan looks like he might be bringing it back to the pit lane. Yeah, a lot of right side damage, a little bit of nose damage for the 78 car as he locks it up. Going to hit the pit entry cone, and he'll bring it onto the pit lane here. But there's the battle for the lead starting to shape up. It's AJ Stravado right there behind Safe Ferris, and look at that speed difference. The 48 pulls right up behind him, and he's going to have no problem passing him on the front straightaway here. Down in turn 1, not any contest at all. The 48 drives right back out front, and AJ Stravado once again showing the strength here tonight. As we are approaching the halfway point, he's back out in front and has led, I believe, almost the most laps. Might be very close with Safe Ferris, as Safe has led 30, but Stravado looks like he could be well on his way to leading a bit more than that here tonight, so we'll see how things work out. But Seth Hatchell is now taking over third from his teammate and Ryan Gemmel, and perhaps Gemmel saving a little bit. And pit cycle starting again. Jeff Pogo bringing it back down, along with Eric Holly, Dan Dill. All those drivers on the pit lane. I think these are the loaded dice race cars. But early in the cycle, as you see Dylan Teal bringing it off the pit road. And we'll see if anybody else brings it down here. Justin Hendry's been on pit road for over 50 seconds. He's got heavy rear end damage. And over 3 laps down now, so he's going to be out of contention. But a lot of stuff going on here in the first half of this race. No cautions, though, as we stay green. We're going to go to commercial break and run side by side, so we will be right back.
Introducing the Brawl Network. The Brawl Network brings your favorite team's news and opinions in an unfiltered, educated, and entertaining way. Enough of the mainstream media's bias, filtered, reiterative news. Our reporters are fans of the teams they cover, as opposed to most major reporters. While some may feel it is good to get unbiased takes, it results in negative bias, passionless articles, and boring podcasts and radio. The Brawl Network changes the game by reporting the same news as the mainstream media, but with passion, in-depth knowledge of the teams, and in an entertaining way. We use our connections to bring you behind-the-scenes information and perspectives daily. Brawl is a way of life here. For our listeners and contributors, we hear all opinions, voices, ideas, thoughts, and hot takes. The Brawl Network is where your voice is heard, and you can hear your voice. Also check out NASCAR Brawl, the newest Brawl podcast focusing on all the newest NASCAR and motorsports news from across the industry. We're proud to bring you the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series sponsored by this podcast and partnered with VSPEED. Watch weekly on Wednesdays at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Twitch at VSPEEDSyn. Check out the Brawl Network at thebrawlnetwork.com and on Twitter at Network Brawl, and the NASCAR Brawl podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify with new episodes coming soon.
And back at the racetrack now, it is all AJ Stravato. He's continuing to put down very fast laps out in front of the V-Speed Camaros of Seth Hatchell and Ryan Gemmel. Safe Ferris up in the top 5 as well. But at the halfway point, it is AJ Stravato. And we're going to do a field rundown at this point in the race. Let's take a look at where your favorite drivers are running. Right now, AJ Stravato out in front. He started 4th. He's led 31 laps, which is the most. And he leads the field right now by almost 2 seconds. In second position, it is Seth Hatchell, about 2 seconds back. He started in the 12th position and is very fast here tonight, up in second right now. Trying to chase down the leader, but not making a whole lot of progress. His teammate right behind him, Ryan Gemmel, started 7th. He's in the 3rd position. Very solid run so far tonight. Safe Ferris, he started 3rd. He's led 30 laps tonight, which is second most to your leader Stravato, and he rides in that 4th position at the moment, and actually doing a good job on older tires to keep up with the V-Speed Camaros. Josiah Vincent in the 5th position. He started 5th. He's led 3 laps here tonight, and right where he started. Alan Dice up from 15th. He's in 6th right now. Good run right now for Alan as he's on a little bit of a better pit strategy. We'll see how this plays out for him. Jordan Scheffler started 8th. A very good run for Jordan tonight as he rides in that 7th position. Michael Newman in 8th right now. He started in 16th, so great run for Michael. Brandon Vasquez finds himself in the top 10, and first car 1 lap down as pit cycle is going on once again right here on lap 69. But Brandon up 8 spots from where he started, doing a good job after a couple of close calls. Lane Sulfridge right around where he started. He's in 10th. Joey Mines running in 11th. Good run after what looked to be a little bit off cycle. So he's up there in 11th. Zach Smith in 12th after starting shotgun on the field. Thomas Brendel starting in 13th. He's up from 14th. Jeff Poga, who started 6th, he is in. He's one of the drivers off cycle. You can see he's got 8-lap-old tires and blowing by the guys on older rubber as Thomas Brendel rides right where he started in 14th. Eric Lambert going to be riding in 15th here after starting in 27th. Good run. Even with all the damage, he has been able to manage the top 15 as Eric Holly actually going to take that away from him as I speak. Eric Holly goes to 15th. Dennis Steele in 17th right now after starting 23rd. Dan Dill in 18th after starting up in the top 10. He's also off cycle. Right behind him, Dallas Sullivan off cycle. He started on the front row and kind of went backwards and has not been able to recover just yet, but we'll see if this pit strategy works out for him. Looks like a total of a 3 or 4 pit stop race. Dan Dill drops back to 19th now. Lyle Sulfridge, he finds himself in the 20th position. Nick Starling in 21st. Nick is off strategy as well. He just pitted 3 laps ago. Expect to see him make his way forward. He was in the top 10 not long ago. Justin Carey going 2 laps down now. He's in 22nd. Jason Perkins 23rd. 24th is Jordan Brockel, who has not had a great race tonight. He's got damage on both sides. Dylan Teal in 25th. He's had some issues tonight. And then Cody Adkins, last driver on the track, in 26th. That car is beat up on all 4 corners. And he's bringing it back down right now, 11 laps off the lead. Justin Hendry has taken it behind the wall, and he will finish in last here tonight in 27th. But out in front, Stravato continues to show the way. It's 2 seconds separating him to Seth Hatchell. And that gap not growing or shrinking, basically running identical lap times, although that time by Hatchell 0.2 faster. So he did close up a little bit as Stravato was trying to make the pass on the 70 car. And the drivers have all been out here at least 26 laps, it looks like, on tires, other than the few that have started in this pit cycle. So some drivers with as few as 1 lap old tires on the racetrack, but some with as old as 37 lap old tires. And still no yellows. We're past halfway. What a difference a week makes, as we had, I believe, 17 total cautions last week in New Hampshire, and this 1.5-mile race going very well for these guys. Some great racing as AJ Stravato continues to dominate this series. We'll see if he can pull out another victory tonight. And driver looking for his first is Seth Hatchell. He's been very close this season. He pushed Ryan Gemmell to the win at Michigan and has had a lot of top 5 runs, but not able to seal the deal just yet. We'll see what Seth can do. The number 8 car. He comes in second in points. He rides second on the racetrack. And he is starting to close that gap. The lead gap now just 1.4 seconds or so between Hatchell and Stravato. They make their way past Michael Newman. That leaves only 5 cars on the lead lap. Some drivers have taken it to the pit lane for fresh rubber, and that's shrunken that lead lap field. But this is pretty wild that there's only 5 cars out of the 26 that are on the racetrack. Looks like Dylan Teal might have taken it behind the wall, actually, so we'll see if Dylan makes it back out on track or not. And Soda KBV57, thank you for tuning in and cheering on Eric Lambert as Eric rides in 23rd position, 2 laps down right now, but just pitted 5 laps ago, so he's a little bit ahead on the pit strategy. And Hatchell struggling to get past Michael Newman. That is going to cost him a little bit of time as that gap opens back up to about 1.5 seconds now. Actually, it didn't cost him any time. He started to close it back down, and he's got a little bit of clean air, this gap between himself and the 48. And Ryan Gemmell not far behind. He's helping out with a little bit of drafting. As there actually the time increases now up to 1.56, now 1.6 seconds, and the 48 starting to streak away once again. He was 0.3 faster last lap. And I am interested to see what happens with Safe Ferris here. This car has been the closest to the front on an off strategy. So Safe, he's run a good race so far. He's led a lot of laps, and he's approaching the top 3 and trying to get back on the lead lap the hard way. He's only got 9 laps on the tires, and he's about 15 laps ahead on strategy, I think, compared to the top 3. But I think they are trying to do 1 less pit stop than he is, and we'll see how it works out. Right now, he's a lap behind in 6th, but not far behind your leader to go back on that lead lap. So Safe has a plan, and he is sticking to it, that is for sure. And the 48 looks like he's also got a plan, and he's definitely sticking to it. 2 seconds up the road once again from Seth Hatchell and Ryan Gemmell. And let's see if there's any battles for position around the racetrack. Really just looks like the VSPEED Camaros are the closest. Maybe this battle, Joey Mines, Lane Sulfridge, and Eric Holly all battling for positions just outside the top 10. And they are all on old tires, off the lead lap now too. And 21 of Justin Carey behind them. Justin, we saw him run through the grass on the backstretch. He is 2 laps down, and on 42 lap old tires as Brandon Vasquez brings it on pit road. He'll complete a pit stop there. This is the 44 trying to get back on the lead lap. This is going to be a very important moment. He's going to have to continue to make up time if he wants any chance to be close to the front at the end of this thing. And as it stands right now, I think he'll probably cycle out to be about... right now, he'd be about 10 seconds out in front of your race leader when the 48 does bring it down the pit road. So Stravato, we'll see how long he stays out. And every lap that he stays out, it'll be another second added on to that. As now 6 cars on the lead lap. We got Not Your Average Noah cheering on VSPEED. And Seth Hatchell, Ryan Gemmel running second and third, about 1.7 and 2.4 seconds back, respectively. And pit cycle is going on. Michael Newman brings it in. He's got some right side damage on that 12 car. And been a pretty straightforward race so far. Completely green for the first 85 laps. Not really anybody racing for position other than the 2 VSPEED Camaros. And some cars also off the lead lap in Joey Mines and Lane Sulfridge. But that is pretty much it. Eric Holly started to catch up to Dallas Sullivan, and Dallas actually on fresher tires, so I think Dallas just passed up Eric. So I think that battle's said and done. As at the front, Stravato still 1.4 seconds in front. Seth Hatchell continues to run very good lap times. He is faster than your leader every so often, and that gap is basically shifting between 1.3 and 2 seconds. They kind of come and go. They match lap times and trade, but the 8 car definitely going to be a contender here, I think, when this is all said and done. He's just got to get a good pit cycle the next time they bring it in, and I think the goal would be to be the last car to pit rather than trying to pit before the 48. It seems like those fresher tires do make a bit of a difference, as Servato's milked the good off these tires for 40 laps now, probably approaching a pit time here in the next 5 laps or so for your lead lap drivers. And times have pretty much equalized between the 48 and the 44, as Safe Fair is about 2-3 seconds up the road from the 48 and back on the lead lap, but he's only running a couple tenths faster a lap and not really gaining a ton. So all the time that he gained up front, he's going to lose when those guys come in and actually get fresh rubber on their race cars. And this is a battle for position as the 44 looks to the inside. Alan Dice, he's been out here for 40 laps on these tires. And the 44 going to go to the inside. He's going to probably have no issue. A 20 lap difference on tires. I think it's pretty much all said and done. Safe Fair is going to move back into the top 5 and about 29 seconds off your leader, AJ Servato, who's right back behind these guys. And Alan Dice going to have to be careful. He is in danger of going a lap down. It looks like someone brings it on the pit lane. That is Alan, actually. He's going to go a lap down through the pit cycle right now, but going to have a little fresher tires than your leaders when they do bring it in. Gemmel brings it in as well. So Gemmel trying to do the undercut. And we'll see how this works out. But Stravato, what does he do in response to that? Just like last time, he sees a car behind him come in, and he's going to pit immediately, very speedy onto the pit lane. And Seth Hatchell will lead his first laps of the night as he stays out on the racetrack. So he's going to try and do what the 48 did and get some clean air this lap, run a very good lap time, and see if he can get a good entry and have 1 or 2 lap fresher tires. We'll see what he does. If he does bring it in here, I think he almost has to, as yep, you see the car slowing up. He brings it onto the apron. It's such a hard pit entry. A little bit conservative there, but I think he's good on speed. And Stravado pulling off the pit lane. There goes Jordan Shepler and others. Safe Ferris already on the backstretch, so he is way out in front. And that gap going to be probably close to 15 seconds when it's all said and done. But Hatchell still showing as your leader as he gets service done on the vehicle. And Seth Hatchell, 16-second pit stop, a little bit long there at the end. Not sure what happened, but 7/10 slower than AJ Stravado. And that is going to put the 48 back in front of him here. Seth just getting back up to speed. Here comes Gemmel as well. So Gemmel going to move to third. Hatchell going to lose a spot, and he's going to lose some time. Did not have the best speed on pit road. He was about 6/10 slower than Stravado. And Gemmel was 2/10 faster down the pit road. As he is right around 8/10 back. So Gemmel gained a bit of time by pitting a lap early and also a bit quicker on the pit road, even with the slower pit stop. So Gemmel needs to take advantage of what he can here. Seth Hatchell is going to be about 3.2 seconds back and nearly 4.5 seconds back of Stravado. With only one lap fresh for tires, it may not work out for him here. Didn't get the speed on pit road that he needed, almost a second slower than Stravado. As Safe Ferris once again takes over the lead. He's led over 30 laps tonight, and it's only a matter of time before those guys catch back up to him. Stravado running almost 2.5 seconds faster. Actually, it was about 2.5 seconds faster there, I think. Or sorry, 1.5 seconds faster. So he will be there in about 5-6 laps, I think. And Safe gonna surrender the lead once again. But anything can happen between now and then. And I'm sure that 44 hoping for some type of a yellow flag to throw things off, and so he can keep this track position. But Ryan Gemmel not able to close. That 48 car so strong through traffic, so strong on the short run, and ultimately pulls away a little bit on the long run. And Gemmel not able to keep up with him here as they make their way through the lap traffic. Seth Hatchell, he is starting to reel these guys in. He knows he's got to get up there and he has to drive as hard as he can, but he's still 4.6 seconds back behind Stravado. He has closed a little bit on Ryan Gemmel, but that 48 car is really the benchmark. I think he's got to know that at this point. I'm sure he does, and I'm sure these guys are going to be very close on fuel to the end as well. But Safe Ferris, he's been out here 28 laps, still leading, and the gap now 4.5 seconds back to Stravado, so that is shrinking rapidly, and it is only a matter of time. Let's go on board with AJ here and see what he's doing in that race car and how he's getting so much speed out of this 48. Here it just barely lifting on turn entry, and he is almost full throttle through the entire corner. That gap now 2.6 seconds. You can see Safe up there. I believe Safe on the outside getting passed up. Yep, that is definitely the 44, and you can see visually just how much AJ is closing every corner. He's led 55 laps here tonight. He wants to lead the rest of them. Gemmel has lost a little bit more ground, and Seth Hatchell has not been able to gain any more on the 16, so not sure the overcut is going to work out. Is Seth trying to find a way around Nick Starling in that 32 car, and not able to do it. I think Nick might have fresh tires. Looks like Nick pitted 3 laps ago, so he does have fresher tires, and that is definitely hurting the 8 car right now. He doesn't have the clean air. That being said, he's actually making time up on everyone in front of him, and I think that's due to the draft with Nick Starling. So that 32 car pulling him up towards the front, and that might be exactly what Seth needs. That's the break he needed to get up there. As here goes AJ Stravato. He's going to pass up the 44 and reclaim the lead. So Safe Fair is back to second now, and Stravato, once again, your race leader here, as he puts another lap under his wings. And that leaves only 5 drivers on the lead lap. What a dominating performance by this 48 car, who's led over half the race, all of which has been under green. And what a fantastic surprise that has been. Dallas Sullivan about to go 2 laps down. He just came off the pit road, so he'll actually stay on the lead lap here, and I think he'll pull away from the 48. I'm not sure what he's doing, though. A little bit slow on the front stretch. Not washing out to the wall there headed into turn 1, but able to keep the foot on the power and drive through turns 1 and 2 and pull well out in front of Stravato, who's now trying to stay in front of the 70 of Lyle Sulfridge. Lyle on fresh tires as well. 3 laps off the pace, trying to get one of those back here, but unable to get alongside the 48. And that distraction may be hurting him, as Gemmel now moves up into second. And Hatchell 1.9 back from him, but cut that gap in about half. And has closed in over a second on your leader, AJ Stravato. And Seth's still running faster lap times, about a 10th faster than Stravato, so he doesn't quite have enough time at that pace, but if he can continuously run a 10th or 2 faster, he might be able to get there. Right now, about 3.8 seconds off the lead in that 3rd position. Next car back, Safe Ferris. He actually is bringing it down pit road. So Safe lost the lead, and he made the decision then to cut his losses and say, I'm going to get out there with some fresh tires and see what I can do to try and chase these guys back down. But he is going to lose all this time on pit road and most likely go a whole lap down. As he does get a lap right there. Stravato already out of turn number 2. I think Safe should be able to make that up. Nick Starling about to unlap himself one of his 2 laps down. And all of this is hurting the 48. You can see he's lost time to Gemmel. The gap was almost 2 seconds, and now it's back down to 1.4. As Nick looking for a way around. And that is a battle for position. I believe the 70... Actually, it is not a battle for position. The 70 is a lap behind. Not sure what is going on with the 70 car. He got past the 48, and then he just dropped back behind him right there. Not sure if he's aware of what's happening in the standings or not, but definitely playing an interesting role right now in being around your race leader, is Nick Starling giving a little pull to the 48. If you are enjoying the race, please consider hitting that follow button or subscribing. I believe it is still September, so you can save money on your subscription for either 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months if you're a new subscriber here. So check that out, see if that deal's still going on. Also, you can connect your Amazon Prime to Twitch and get a free subscription each and every month. So if you're interested and want to use that here, we would greatly appreciate it. But we're trying to hit a follower goal of 500, and we are on our way there, almost 360 right now. Really appreciate everybody who's come alongside here over the last couple of months and supported us. And we'll be doing a giveaway when we get to the 500 follower mark. So follow here and check us out on our Twitter as well. You can check us out at VSPEED Sim on Twitter as well as on Instagram. We just hit 100 followers on Instagram, and we're making our way up in Twitter too, so appreciate everybody who's followed us on those platforms. You can also find race announcements before each and every broadcast on Twitter, as well as our Facebook page, so check us out on all of those social media platforms. We would really appreciate you coming alongside and supporting us over there. And once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. This is the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series. Race number 8, so 2 more races to lock your way into the playoffs. And right now, AJ Stravado trying to throw another win under his belt. This would be the 5th win in 8 races, and would definitely be the favorite to win the championship at that rate. He has been absolutely dominant this season, leading laps in, I believe, every race, except perhaps Daytona. And Daytona winner Joshua Abbey is not here tonight. So he's going to lose some points, and he's only about 11 in, I think, above the cut line. I believe the win does lock him in, but not sure if there's a limit, like if he's outside the top 20 in points or outside the top 30, if he's still going to make it in. I think he's okay for right now, but if he misses the next 2 weeks, it could be an issue. AJ Stravado continues to show the way, 1.6 seconds up over Ryan Gemmel, and Seth Hatchell has caught up to Gemmel. So Seth making some great lap time here, and last time by about 0.3 faster than both the 16 and the 48, as Stravado in the middle of lap traffic here. Only one more car to pass, that's Justin Carey. But Stravado's fallen off in terms of lap time, and Seth Hatchell staying down there in the 31.2s, 31.3s. Stravado up in the 31.5s as Hatchell all over the back bumper of his teammate now. When does he make the move to make that pass with laps winding down? Under 20 to go in this event. And I can't believe we've run the entire thing under green so far. But Hatchell has caught his teammate here. I think he's going to have to make the move sooner rather than later, or he's going to get held up. But it might make sense for them to work together and use this draft, as Stravado finally passing up Justin Carey. But here comes Thomas Brendel in the 14 car. He looks to the inside of the 21, and Thomas right now 5 laps off the pace in 24th, looking to get one of those back. Michael Newman just rolling off pit road. He was on the pit lane for over 1.5 minutes. So Michael going to lose a couple more laps here. He's now 4 laps off the pace in the 23rd spot. Seth Hatchell looks to the inside of his teammate there. Behind them, Safe Ferris in the 5th position. He is 1 lap down, trying to get back on the lead lap before it's all said and done. And he has made an extra pit stop. And would be the only driver on that strategy to be on the lead lap if he can get back up there. But he's going to get in the mix here with the VSPEED Camaros. He'll go to the inside of Hatchell, and then he'll go to the inside of Gemmel, I believe, down on the next end of the racetrack. But you can see the leader, AJ Stravado, he is not far up the road. That 48 car, he might have used all the tires. And Safe Ferris, he's going to want to get up there and at least get that lap back. So he's not going to be backing down. He'll get up there and race with your leader if he has to. But Hatchell and Gemmel still nose to tail. I think Hatchell being held up a little bit as his lap times have fallen off. And only 4 cars on the lead lap. Gemmel goes to the inside of the 71. That's Lane Sulfridge, who rides 11. And here comes Hatchell to the inside. He'll go right on past on the front straightaway here. And headed down into turn number 1. Just 14 laps to go. And AJ Stravado with the 1.6 second gap back to Gemmel. But he's got that 14 car breathing down his neck. And he is 5 laps down, but still could race for position. He's got Michael Newman within a lap, and Dennis Steele also within a lap of him. So Thomas does have a little bit to race for to get back up to 4 laps down in case something does break out. But Gemmel starting to close the gap now down to 1.5 seconds and bringing Hatchell with him as they make their way underneath Justin Carey. Nick Starling right there in front of them as well. And Nick up in 10th has had a good recovery while also doing this 3-pit strategy. But it definitely shows the drivers who can get some life out of the tires definitely better off tonight. It was a green flag race all the way through, and just a little over 10 laps to go as Safe Ferris looks to try and get underneath Stravato. That'll put him back on the lead lap. So Safe Ferris in 5th. He's got a long ways to get to 4th as he nearly tags the wall there. And Safe Ferris, the 44 car, up into 5th. He's led the second most laps here to AJ Stravato. And that 48 car just on rails as he pulls another 10th over Ryan Gemmel. And I think Gemmel might be giving up that second spot. He sees Hatchell has a bit more speed and says, hey man, go up there, you can get it. And Hatchell looking for his first win. Gemmel does have the win at Michigan. And it's kind of the opposite scenario there where Hatchell pushed Ryan to the win. And they were pushing nose to tail for the last 2 laps of that green-white checkered finish. And Hatchell now up to 2nd at the line, and it'll be 10 to go. AJ Stravato with a 1.7 second lead. He's got Thomas Brendel still behind him, and now he's got the 44 giving him some dirty air out in front. But Safe keeps dropping down and breaking the draft on the straightaways, so not helping the 48 who got into him last week as they were racing for the win. And I'm sure that has not left the mind of that 44 car. He has not gotten a victory this season. Had a shot at it last week at New Hampshire. Was on older tires, and Stravato came charging through. They made some contact in 3 and 4 and sent the 44 up the racetrack, but I think they discussed it out after the race. I'm sure he has not forgotten. He is probably forgiven, but race car drivers don't usually forget all that easily, as Stravato continues to hold this 1.7 second lead over Seth Hatchell, and Hatchell is driven away from Gemmel and is about a 10th and a half faster that time by. But he's not going to have the time to get there, I don't think. He's going to have to pick up the pace a little bit more if he wants to challenge for the race win. But he has saved the tires and 1 lap pressured Goodyear Eagles. Seth Hatchell has done his very best so far, and actually is starting to close that gap. 1.5 seconds now between 1st and 2nd. He chops another 10th and a half off that time by. But he's in the wake of that 14 car, and Brendel not very quick. He's got that damage. And running slower than your leader, even with much pressure much pressure tires. The car, I think, is pretty hurt. He's got significant right side damage. And Hatchell right on the back bumper now. The gap is only 1.3 seconds. He's picking it up another 10th and a half that time by. We're coming to 5 to go. Next time the gap is going to be a little over a second, as Hatchell actually lost a bit there on exit. And Dennis Steele coming from behind here. He has fresh tires, 22 lap old tires rather, so he has fresher tires than Hatchell, and we'll see if he gets in front, starts to interfere. But 5 laps to go on the board. It's been green all the way, and it's been all AJ Stravato all the way. That 48 car absolutely dominant. Another race here this season. He's led 82 laps out of the 128 that have been run, and Seth Hatchell, try as he might, I don't know if he's going to get there. He's got the 28 car Dennis Steele behind him, giving him a little bit of a push down the straightaways, but I don't think Dennis is aware of the situation that these guys are racing for the win, and it looks like he's going to try and go to the outside of Seth, maybe cross him over here, or maybe he'll give him a push down the straightaway. So that appears to be the case. Seth is not closing anymore, though. He's still 1.2 seconds back, and laps winding down as he's got that 28 car pushing him in the mirror. But this time across the line, Seth Hatchell did run about a tenth faster. He's going to have to pick it up more, and he's going to have to hope something happens here with AJ Stravato. It'll be just over 40 laps on the tires when they get down to the white flag, and I think they're going to be good on fuel. I don't think they'll have any issues with blown tires, so AJ Stravato, unless we get a yellow flag here, I think he's on his way to win number 5. That 48 car, so good this year. And I don't know if anyone can stop him at this rate. He has just been on rails. There's Hatchell 1 second back now. He's closing, but don't think it's quick enough. He's just going to run out of time. He needed to get going about 5-10 laps sooner, and he might be there right now, but if he went 5 or 10 laps sooner, he might have burned the tires up. But Dennis Steele all over his back bumper. Don't know what the 28 is doing. It really does look like he's pushing him. It's the 25 or the 12 of Michael Newman also right there. And white flag in the air. AJ Stravato 8 tenths out in front. Hatchell closing. You can see the 8 car in the mirror there, but it's not going to matter unless he runs out of fuel. AJ Stravato working through 3 and 4 wins on the season. 20 playoff points already. And race number 8, the VSPEED 200, going to go to AJ Stravato. The number 48 car, he wins at Chicagoland. Second place, Seth Hatchell, just 6 tenths back. Ryan Gemmel comes home in third. So the VSPEED teammates making up 2 of the 3 podium positions. But AJ Stravato is your race winner here tonight. Congrats to AJ for win number 5. He gets a big bump there from Ryan Gemmel. Fantastic race by these guys. Clean and green for 133 laps. And I can hardly believe it. That is one of the first races, if not the very first race that we have ever broadcast here that has gone green all the way. So big attaboy to all the guys in the field today. I know we had some contact. We had some guys sliding around, but I don't think anybody crashed or looped it. So congratulations to everyone in the field for making it through this thing and running it clean and green to the end. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with the top 3 interviews.
Introducing the Brawl Network. The Brawl Network brings your favorite team's news and opinions in an unfiltered, educated, and entertaining way. Enough of the mainstream media's bias, filtered, reiterative news. Our reporters are fans of the teams they cover, as opposed to most major reporters. While some may feel it is good to get unbiased takes, it results in negative bias, passionless articles, and boring podcasts and radio. The Brawl Network changes the game by reporting the same news as the mainstream media, but with passion, in-depth knowledge of the teams, and in an entertaining way. We use our connections to bring you behind-the-scenes information and perspectives daily. Brawl is a way of life here. For our listeners and contributors, we hear all opinions, voices, ideas, thoughts, and hot takes. The Brawl Network is where your voice is heard, and you can hear your voice. Also check out NASCAR Brawl, the newest Brawl podcast focusing on all the newest NASCAR and motorsports news from across the industry. We're proud to bring you the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series sponsored by this podcast and partnered with VSPEED. Watch weekly on Wednesdays at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Twitch at VSPEEDSyn. Check out the Brawl Network at thebrawlnetwork.com and on Twitter at Network Brawl, and the NASCAR Brawl podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify with new episodes coming soon.
And we are back at the racetrack. We're about to bring up our race winner here, AJ Stravato, who just brought home his 5th win of the season. Here he comes into the booth. AJ Stravato, this is Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, AJ, we've interviewed you a lot this season. You captured another victory here in dominating fashion. We went clean and green to the end, and you had a leg up on everybody here, but how'd you get it done here tonight?
I think the biggest thing was just saving that right front and balancing it out at the beginning of that first run and just getting track position and executing on pit road. We did a good job of that today, and we brought home a win. Chicago is one of my favorite tracks, so made sure to capitalize.
Yes, sir, and capitalize you did. We saw a couple different pit strategies from drivers here tonight, and that seemed to really make the difference with who finished on the lead lap and who didn't. 5 of the top 6 pitted twice in this race, and basically everybody else pitted 3 times. So, at what point did you realize this thing was going green and you had to save it and pit as few times as possible?
I think regardless of the strategy, my job the first run was just to run it until pretty much the tank was empty, just because tires are so important throughout an entire run. And, generally once you get a good run at Chicago and you get spaced out 30-40 laps, generally it goes green till the end, or a lot of green flag racing happens until somebody wrecks. But, we have a league with a lot of clean guys in here, so I kind of expected after, the second pit stop to go green till the end. So it was just about saving the tires and maintaining track position. I know a lot of the VSPEED teammates behind me were working together pretty well, so I just had to keep them behind me, and we got it done.
Yes, sir, and for the 5th time this season, you get it done. You get another 5 playoff points, so that's huge as we're closing in on that playoff, start in a couple weeks. But we go to Talladega next week. It's kind of a wild card there, but how do you feel about going to that place?
That's going to be a wild card for sure. My goal is pretty much next week is just to help all my teammates make sure they get in the chase. The Vincent brothers, Sulfridges, and Eric, I know we missed this week. So I'll be helping them out as much as I can next week and just making sure they get as good points finishes as they can. But want to give a couple shout outs, lmcgear.com, TI Racing, Chris Lewis, Sulfridge brothers, and keep the Vincent brothers and their family in their prayer. I know they're dealing with a tough time right now with their family. So I just want to give a special shout out to them and all my buddies that are watching. It means a lot.
Yes, sir, and congrats again on the victory here, and take some time after the race to talk with us as usual. Go celebrate, and we'll catch up with you at Talladega.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for the broadcast.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That was AJ Stravato, your race winner for the 5th time this season. He wins tonight's race at Chicagoland. Coming home in 2nd, we're going to bring up Mr. Seth Hatchell, the hometown hero. Good run for him tonight. Seth Hatchell, this is Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Seth, you couldn't quite get it done here. You were closing in lap after lap, and you did the overcut. It didn't quite work out for you here tonight, but you charged from 12th to finish runner-up. You lead a couple laps in the process. This race went green from start to finish. You did a good job managing the tires, but give us a rundown of, how you felt throughout tonight's race.
It was a fun race. The car was, these cars at all these 1.5 miles that tend to be tight just with the way the aero push works, but this car was pretty neutral in terms of being 1.5 miles, and it was great, going the whole way without a caution. You don't see that a lot, and that really plays in my wheelhouse with saving tires, because a lot of these guys are able to go out and run pretty quick on the short run, and they just don't have the car on the long run. And so, most of that race trying to keep up with AJ, and I think after that first stop, because I think 4 of us in total were doing the 2-stop strategy, and just trying to keep up with AJ. I thought I almost had him after the first stop, and I got caught up behind some lap traffic, and he was able to get by. So just trying to match his times there until our last stop, and I went an extra lap. I wasn't sure if I had led a lap yet, so I went an extra lap on the pit exchange to make sure I led one. And then there's been this weird bug with iRacing since the new build, where after the jack drops on a pit stop, it'll hold you for a couple of seconds, and it hasn't been terrible. I think it's happening to everybody from the sounds of it. But on that last stop, it held me for about 2.5 seconds, which I think pretty much killed my chance of the win there at the end. I was, I think, almost at 4 seconds back at one point, and so just trying to be really diligent on that last run, trying not to look at the relative and really keep a steady line to try and be as efficient as I can, or as I could. And I got a lot closer than I thought I would. I think it was the 28 was pushing me there at the end. I think I had the car there at the end. I think that pit stop really hurt me.
Yeah, we were looking at the pit times, and yours was the slowest for sure, 16-second, time on in the box, and then also about 0.6 slower on the pit lane. So, that's the difference right there, really. Down the pit road, it looks like, and then maybe the in lap and out lap. Plus he was able to get a lap on you with fresh tires. But man, you gave it a shot there at the end, and you caught up to Ryan. Very close, about 15 laps to go, and you were kind of stuck behind him for a couple laps. Was that just due to not being able to pass because of the aero, or were you guys communicating about that and figuring out how you could get up there?
Yeah, we were communicating a bit. It's a lot harder, especially when I got right up on his bumper, the aero push. I'm really the whole night I was trying to make all my time in the center of the corner, and I think Ryan and AJ were both getting more speed into the corner and out of the corner. And when you're that close to the guy, it's really hard to make speed through the center of the corner. Even physically, if the guy's right in front of you, you can't really roll up and hit him, especially at 1.5 miles. And then besides that, we were trying to coordinate a little bit because I was trying to time runs so we could try and get a shot at AJ there. So I didn't want to have to pull out and pass them and then lose any draft and lose more time to AJ. So I was trying to time when we could both get a pole on AJ and then when it was best for me to go. I was pretty shocked that I was able to get by Ryan. I thought he was going to be pretty hard to get by there at the end, especially how far back I was. But all in all, a decent second place there.
Yes, sir. And you came in second in the points. You're probably going to gain the lead back. You and Jeff Pogo keep swapping it back and forth, but you gain a few more points than he did tonight, so I think you'll take that lead back over. Still looking for that first victory. We go to Talladega next week, and I know you have some interesting luck at the plate tracks, but what are your thoughts on going out there?
Yeah, just gotta take it in stride. We'll go out there. Me and Ryan have a lot of experience on these plate races, especially in league races, so I'm pretty confident what even just two of us can do against the field. And I think we were pretty good back in Daytona, and we got plenty of wreck avoidance there. Like you said, my luck's up and down. I won an official race at Daytona a week ago without any incident, and we'll just have to see. It's Talladega.
Yes, sir. We'll see how it goes for you. See if you can capture that first win. You've been runner-up a few times this season, and I think it's just a matter of time before you do capture it here. But come home P2 after starting in 12th. You lead 2 laps on the way, and another solid run. But anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go celebrate?
Yeah, I want to thank you, Adam, and VSPEED for not only having fast race cars, but doing a great job of the broadcast. Got to thank all the sponsors of the league. Sorry, I don't have them pulled up right now. And then Nick and all the admins do a great job this league. It's one of the best run leagues I've run in, and leagues always tend to have issues the first couple of races, a lot of wrecking, but this is by far one of the best leagues I've been in.
Awesome, Seth. Well, that is great to hear. It's good to hear from you guys about how you're enjoying it. But you've had a great run so far early on this season. We look to see what you can do next week, so we will catch you then.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, and that was your second place finisher, Seth Hatchell. We're going to pull up his teammate now, Mr. Ryan Gemmel. Ryan Gemmel, this is Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Ryan, you had a fast car all night long. You're up in the top 3, basically from the get-go, up in the top 10 at least, the entire race. You couldn't quite keep up with Seth and AJ there in the closing laps, but you were not too far off, with just a few laps remaining. So, what did the car feel like for you here tonight, and how'd you bring it home third?
Well, I had a good short run car for sure, and for the most part, I was able to keep up with them. AJ was able to get out to a pretty decent lead on that second run there. It was like 2 seconds, and Seth and I stayed pretty much even with him the whole run. And then after that last set of pit stops, we were maybe, 15 laps into the last run, and I got caught up in it with some lap cars and had to hit the brakes and lost a ton of time. And next thing I know, Seth was flying by me, and I just didn't quite have the long run speed after that to make anything happen or make up any ground. But fun race overall, and glad to come home third.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to watch. We saw all kinds of action, especially early on, but with the green flag racing, got a little bit strung out. But definitely, fun to see you guys put a whole race together like that and manage the tires and manage the strategy. The VSPEED teammates came out second and third here tonight. So another great run for you. You continue to climb through the points. And we head to, I know one of your favorite places next week at Talladega. So, what are your thoughts on going out there?
You know my thoughts. My thoughts when it comes there. We'll see what happens, I guess. There's only so much you can do at a track like that, so we'll just try and make something happen.
Yes, sir. We'll see if you can capture another victory out there. That would be 2. And just a couple races left till we get to the playoffs. So, how are you feeling with the finishes you've had recently? How do you think you're going to do here as we get into the playoffs?
I definitely think the speed is there to go pretty far into the playoffs. Having that win, knowing that I'm locked in, is a nice sense of security. But 3 races in a row on the podium, got a lot of momentum right now. Whatever happens next week, I'll either count it or not count it. It's just how it goes. But
Yep.
I'm looking forward to the playoffs. It's pretty obvious who the car to beat is out there right now, so he's going to be tough the whole way through. But hopefully we can be there towards the end of the season.
Yes, sir, and definitely making a name for yourself over here in the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series. You put on a good show with your VSPEED teammate here in the VSPEED sponsored race, and come home P3. So anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go celebrate?
I've got to thank you for putting on these awesome races, and league admins and all the drivers out there for running clean tonight. Caution-free race is awesome. Those are kind of hard to come by. And all the fans that came out to watch, and my VSPEED teammates.
Awesome, Ryan. Well, congrats on another podium finish 3 weeks in a row. We'll see if you can capture a victory there at Talladega next week, but we will talk to you then.
All right, thanks, Adam.
All right, that was Ryan Gemmel, your third place finisher, but once again, AJ Stravato, your race winner here tonight. Let's go to our full results and see where your favorite drivers finished in tonight's race. No cautions at all here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway, and AJ Stravato comes out on top. We did have 10 lead changes, so it was competitive at the front, but Stravato ended up dominating, leading over 80 laps and coming home your winner. But Seth Hatchell gave it a hard charge at the end. He comes home in second after starting in 12th. His teammate right there behind him, Ryan Gemmel, comes home third. Josiah Vincent, another extremely solid run. He comes home in fourth. Safe Ferris was your last driver on the lead lap. He comes home in fifth. Another strong performance by him here this season. Alan Dice with a good run. He comes home sixth. Jeff Pogo, your points leader, coming into the race. He will probably lose the points lead. But both Seth Hatchell and Jeff Pogo really swapping that back and forth, neck and neck. He comes home in seventh. Dallas Sullivan recovers and finishes eighth. Good run by him. Eric Holly comes home ninth. And Nick Starling recovers and he finishes in the 10th position. In 11th, it was Lane Saltfridge. 12th, Dan Dill. 13th, Jason Perkins. 14th, Jordan Scheffler. 15th was Zach Smith. 16th was Justin Carey. 17th, Joey Mines. 18th, Lyle Selfridge. 19th was Jordan Brockle. And rounding out the top 20 is Dennis Steele in that number 28 car. 21st was Michael Newman. 22nd, Thomas Brendel. 23rd, Eric Lambert. 24th was Brandon Vasquez. 25th, Cody Adkins. 26th, Dylan Teal. And taking it behind the wall early was Justin Hendry, rounding out the field in 27th. But AJ Stravato, 5 wins on the season. He continues to show the way. And we'll see what he can do next week, if he can add on to that, or if we have a new winner. But you won't want to miss next week's race at Talladega. We want to thank you for tuning in here tonight to VSPEED here on Twitch. You can find us at vspeedsim.com. If you're looking for sim racing services, we offer graphic design and product design, 3D design, things like that. We can create custom 3D printed hardware for your rig or for whatever you may need. We also offer paint schemes and lots of other services, so check us out over there at vspeedsim.com. You can also find us on all of these social media outlets. We post race replays on YouTube. We're going to be posting last week's finish from New Hampshire over on that channel tonight, so you can check that out. Probably in about an hour here it should be up. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and we post race announcements before each broadcast on Twitter and Facebook, so really appreciate if you guys can check us out over there. And if you enjoyed tonight, please consider following or subscribing. We would really appreciate it. And we will be back next week, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time, with the Talladega race, the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series. And we want to thank you all once again for tuning in here tonight to the VSPEED 200 from Chicago, race number 8. Only 2 more before the playoffs. And we are going to raid somebody here before we get going. So let's see who's online. Let's see if Mr. David Schildhouse does not look like he is on. So I think we're going to raid Fumang Shu. So stick around for that, and we will catch you all next week.